The Severed Son starts with poison, axe murder, cult dread, and the kind of awkward family reunion that says, "Welcome home," with a crucifix and suspicious tea. And you're telling me this is a slow burn? Yeah, sure. Welcome to Atomic Cult Media, where we cover movies that get weird, wild, or just straight up witchy. And today's indie horror pick, The Severed Son, is like the witch got lost on the set of Moonrise Kingdom and refused to leave until someone was burned at the stake. Set in an isolated British religious community, The Severed Son kicks off with a mysterious death that stirs up witch hunt hysteria. The prodigal daughter, played by Emma Appleton, returns to find her family knee-deep in suspicion, ritual, and deeply repressed trauma. Welcome home, sweetheart. Now pick up an axe. The story unfurls with creeping paranoia, generational guilt, and the classic cult horror unease. It's unsettling in a very polite, very British way, until it's not. This is directed by Dean Puckett in his feature debut, and this one's loosely based on his 2018 short, The Sermon. The film has been in development hell for years, originally titled I Feel Blood and The Heretic, before landing on The Severed Son, because nothing says good vibes like solar dismemberment. It was developed with the backing of BFI, BBC Film, and Creative UK, and had its premiere at Fantastic Fest in September 2024. And yeah, the vibes are immaculate, like Wes Anderson and Robert Eggers made a horror baby on a goat farm. Emma Appleton plays the no-nonsense protagonist, equal parts skeptic and survivor. Her return to the commune shakes up old wounds and reveals some truly unholy secrets. Toby Stephens plays her deeply unsettling tyrannical father, a true gaslight gatekeep, god complex kind of guy. And Jodie May brings a quiet sorrow and strength as a mother figure. Now this is what I'm looking for these indie films that I discover on streaming or video on demand. I love the look and cinematography of The Sacred Son. Every frame is dripping with eerie tension and immaculate blocking. A great amount of dread and tension just from her returning to this cult. She poisoned her husband and made it look like an accident. Shh. I bring up Wes Anderson because there's still shots and they're standing far from each other and very stilted speaking to each other, and gave me strong Wes Anderson vibes. And it builds a lot of intrigue. There is a underlying theme of domestic abuse and patriarchy. And I think the Emma Appleton character is fantastic in this. She's very punchy. She doesn't take any shit, and it's kind of fun to see, especially in a movie in this time setting. And then you see them, they kind of regress a little bit. That is not this lady. So that was a nice divergent from what we usually see in these type of movies. And with that, it kind of builds intrigue. It builds some interesting character dynamics of where they were in their past, how they knew this girl before, and the tension that she brings in the current day. And of course, there's a satanic demon in the woods that's killing people for her. That will cause some tension, I think. And the father is a great villain. He brings this palpable dread every time he's on screen. Like, you don't even really know where his allegiance aligns. Is he with his daughter or the people? He's more concerned about them working than the welfare of his daughter. But it's interesting seeing that struggle. It's our house, but it doesn't go up its own ass about it like these type of movies usually do. And although I do like the character dynamics, the motivation, the characters are sort of muddled, especially towards the end. I wasn't even sure who this older kid was for a while. And the little kid, her son, kind of just disappears for most of the movie. There's this strange love triangle. I didn't really understand that. Not really sure how necessary it was. Although maybe it has something to do with the satanic worshippers of this. But really not sure what that was trying to say. And the demon, there are some creepy moments with the demon, but a lot of the times you see him like standing there and it's obviously a guy in a costume. It doesn't look that great. It doesn't help that in the opening credits they credit so-and-so as the demon. But I would rate The Severed Son 3.5 out of 5. Overall, this is what I want when discovering a indie horror flick. It's moody, it's atmospheric and messy in an interesting way. It doesn't fall into the trauma equals demon, trend that we see in a lot of these movies, not tacking on trauma to a supernatural element to be elevated. And it offers something more thematically weird in a way. Interesting lore and character dynamics combined with great cinematography, acting, and filmmaking. Although it's not perfect, it's surprisingly more punchy than I was expecting. But did you see The Sacred Son? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. And what indie horror movies have you seen this year, and what would you recommend? If you enjoyed this review and like movies where the real horror is religious repression, but also literal witches, go ahead and praise the algorithm gods by smashing that like button, subscribing, and checking out our movie review playlist down below. And I'll see you later. Bye.